Man, well, God bless you. Good morning, Vida family. How's everyone doing? Good? Are you guys ready for the Super Bowl? Yes? Who do you guys think is going to win, Tom Brady or Mahomes? We're a little divided here. Well, my money's on Tom Brady, the GOAT, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Yeah, some of you guys don't like that. Worship team, thank you guys so much. After the team can come take a seat, how about you guys turn around, wave to someone, tell them God bless you. A few housekeeping notes before we get started today. After doing so, you guys may take a seat. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your concerns. I know Pastor gave an announcement over in the other church, and people thought I was dying or something. No, I am fine. Our test came out negative. We just were waiting for the results, and we wanted to make sure, so that's why I wasn't here last week. But nonetheless, thank you for your prayers. Many of you guys called me, and man, you guys offered, hey, you need something, let us know. That made yourselves available. So for that, I am greatly appreciated. And those that didn't call me, I'm going to remember that. But no, I'm just kidding. Nah, I love all you guys. And some more housekeeping notes. Wednesday's service, they're going to relaunch the youth classes. And so they'll be talking about a lot of interesting topics. I believe Angelo Sr. will be overseeing that class now. So I know a lot of the ministries kind of were put on pause due to the pandemic, but as things start to reopen and we can start to do more events and obviously with the health and safety protocols, with always that with priority, people's health. We're going to start the classes again on Wednesdays. So if you guys come on Wednesdays, you guys will have your classes over there. Also today we are taking Santa Cena, the communion or the Eucharist. Those of you that are saved, those of you that have been baptized, we encourage you to participate. That will be done over at the tent after service. So Pastor did ask me to cut today's service a little bit shorter than usual. Some of you guys are like, yay, we get out early. But we're going to have communion over there. And he's also going to be giving the missions announcements. We have a couple of projects in Guanajuato. We're going to build a church. I'm actually going to go look at the land in about 2 weeks. So I'll be gone in a couple of weeks to Mexico. Also, we got a couple projects that we're starting in Africa this year. So Pastor is going to Africa in the summer. And I believe a couple of the young adults as well, they're going to be accompanying him. We're going to go to a couple of countries where there is no gospel. There's only, it's very, very well restricted. So we're going to see what we can do. Perhaps lift up some pastors, give them a proper training, and then encourage people. So we got a lot of things that are going to happen this year. And we want you guys to be informed. We want you guys to participate. So as it is the first Sunday of the month, our offerings are donated to the missions department. And we want you to know what you donate to. We want you to be involved. We don't want you to just give your money without meaning. Your money has purpose. Your money is a tool. So when you give to a church, you understand where it goes and why you do it and why you're a participant in that. So we always give with purpose, always. So at the end of service, those of you that want to participate and want to hear the missions announcements, we will be going over to the tent. They're not going to call us. You guys just walk over there, hang out in the back, and then they're going to be giving us that information and then participate in communion. So with that being said, let's get into today's word. As most of you guys know, we're doing a series called Live Your Calling. This series is really to set a foundation of the reason why you exist. What are your purposes in life? Why you breathe today, why you stand before each other today is that God has called you. God has placed a calling over every single person, every single one of his creations. Before they were born, God had formed them in his mind and awaited a time where he would encounter them. You know, millions and billions of years ago, in the sense of eternity, God was already thinking about you, knowing that you would be born in the millennial, born in the 90s, the 80s, whatever, born in the 2000s, saying, I can't wait to encounter you. We are all called for a great purpose, right? That's what we talked about the first week. And then we realized that these callings and these purposes in our life have to be kind of set up in a systematic way. The first thing that we spoke about was that you were created to be loved. Right? Many of you guys will recall that. Before you can do anything, God purposed you, God designed you, God gave you a calling over life so that you would first understand that you are loved. You were created by God to be loved. And then we realized the second after that is you were called to belong. belong to his body, belong to his family, belong to his temple, belong to his flock, belong to his garden. As Jesus is the tree, the vine, and we are the fruits that produce through him. And then last week or 2 weeks ago, we talked about called to become. That God has called us to grow up, to mature in him, to understand, to comprehend. And it's a process, and God is with us along the entire way. And we simplify our lives, we put our focus upon God. But God has called us to become more like him. Right? So that's where the series is going right now. We are called first to be loved. We are called to belong. Then we are called to become. So today's service, we're going to talk about that we're called to bless. We are called to bless. And this is going to be the fourth purpose of your life. The fourth reason why you exist is that God shaped you to serve him. The terms serve and bless are correlated in the Bible. Anytime you serve others, or anytime you bless others, you're actually serving God. That's how we live our lives before God. In a coram deo, before the presence of God, when we bless others, we are in service to God. Let me read a few Bible verses here before I give you the benefits of blessing others. Ephesians 2:10, it says, "For we are God's masterpiece. He has created us anew." And that word masterpiece, we've spoken about it before. You guys will recognize these Bible verses. Masterpiece, we are his poetry, we are his workmanship, we are his artwork. It says he has created us anew in Christ Jesus so we can do the good things he planned for us long ago. That God created us, purposed us, so we can be a blessing unto others. God didn't create you so you can just suck up the air in the room and live a self-centered life and only serve yourself. That is the opposite of why God created you. Really, Jesus was the perfect example. He says, I came to serve and not to be served. So if we're to be like Christ, we're going to have to change, or better yet, bring into correction the ego, the agenda that we have in our mindset about Christianity. That when you become a Christian, your purpose, after doing the first three, your fourth purpose in life is you're going to be called to serve others. And you're going to see the great benefits of serving others. It's going to be awesome. We're going to talk about it right now in a little bit. But we are called to serve, not to live a self-centered life, not to live for ourselves, but to serve and to bless others. Servant and ministry are also correlated in the Bible. That when you serve, we're called to bless, we're called to serve. That is actually your ministry. We think in order to be a minister, you got to be the dude preaching up on the stage. No, my ministry is preaching and teaching. But every single person in here has a ministry. Every single one of us, because we are called into the ministry of Jesus Christ. To be Christians is to say, I am in ministry, I am in service, I am called to be his, to do what he has called me to do. That is to be in service, that is your ministry. So when people ask you, well, how many ministers are here at Vida? You should say about 500 or so, however many members we have. Every single one of you here is a minister. Minister and administrating the gifts that God has given you for his body, for his church. Everyone here is called to bless. And when you understand that, you comprehend that, man, will it be revolutionary to your faith? You will begin to grow. You'll understand that, yes, I belong to him. I'm becoming who God has called me to be. And God, you have loved me so much that I am able to do this. But we are all called to ministry. That's your fourth purpose, is that God shaped you to serve him. God shaped you to bless, and we are called to bless. Now, calling and blessing, or calling and purpose, were the things that we're correlating throughout the Bible. And your fourth calling is going to be a bivocational minister of Jesus. That everything you're going to do in life is going to have two purposes. Yeah, you're going to go work. Yeah, you're going to have friendships. But if everything you do is supposed to be a reflection or a witness of Christ, it serves a dual purpose. You are all bivocational ministers of Jesus. So you may have your regular 9-to-5 job. You may have your regular occupation, your career, you're a student. But everything has a dual purpose because you're going to be bivocational, meaning that you do of the both. Colossians 3:17. Because let's see what this Bible verse here. It says, and whatever you do or say, do it as a representative of the Lord Jesus, giving him thanks through him to God the Father. Whatever you do, whatever. If you're a student, if you got a career, you're a professional, this, that, and whatever you do, it says do it as a representative to the Lord. You guys are now bivocational. You have two duties. You're going to do the obligation that you have to provide, to serve, to live the purposes God has called you to be, but it's going to be so much more significant because everything you do to others is as if you're doing it to the Lord, in service and in honor to God. How many of you guys are hearing me this morning? And that means in whatever you do. I had a couple of examples of here because I was thinking of, because I struggle on this, right? Me and some of the guys will play Call of Duty online, right? And the chats get kind of crazy. There's a lot of offensive language. There's a lot of you're trash, you're dog water, you suck at this video game. And I remember when I first started playing with them, I'm like, hey, man, you know what, man? God bless you. Man, I would say such random things, everybody would start laughing. But it's in the areas of your life where even when you think no one's looking, no one's seeing, you are still doing it as a representative of Christ. It doesn't matter if people aren't looking. God is always looking, and it matters to God. Guys, learn to bless. Learn to know this conviction that you're going to have. I think another example that I have is, man, I get a lot of mail to my house that isn't mine. One time I got, I think, a designer belt, MCM, and I was like, damn, this is expensive, $200-300. I'm about to keep this. I was like, nah, I got to return it. I got some books the other day from, Borders or something. Someone wrote it, some other name, but to my address. And then I think my wife or someone was like, you just throw it in the trash, dude. Nah, I got to take it to the store. I got to return it. I get so much mail. No one's looking. I could keep all this stuff. Hey, it's not my fault they sent all this valuable stuff to my house. But I cannot. It's not mine. It doesn't pertain to me. I didn't obtain this in a righteous way because God is looking. And even when God isn't looking, or not even when no one's looking, I have the conviction that God is looking. You're always in service to God. Every part of your life becomes that much more significant. And God sees it, and God will reward you for it. Don't do it because, everyone's looking at me. No. There's so many ministries at this church because there's so many people, and there's so many people that do things outside of church because people think, if the church doesn't have the ministry, then I don't have to do it. Or because there is no ministry for that, then there's no way to serve. You serve every day you leave this building. You're going to serve yourself or you're going to serve others. But when you serve others, know that you're in service to the Lord because you're becoming more humble. You're placing people. It's an ego check. It's a pride check. You're saying, God, you have called me to bless. You have called me to honor you. So, God, I'm just going to start giving away my life. I'm going to start participating. I'm going to start being more generous with my time, generous with my money. God, I want to be in service to you. God, because you have blessed me. Then you realize that your dependency is more upon God and not upon your own will and not upon your own efforts and energy. So you don't need the church to start a ministry in order for you to serve others. Remember that. But let me talk to you about the benefits, right? Because what will happen if I use my life to serve and bless others? What will happen when you begin to change the focus from you? I live for myself. This is my money. This is my house. This is my stuff. If you change that to saying, God, I want to serve you. I want to bless others. And in doing so, I'm serving you. You're going to get these 4 benefits. The first benefit will be that you will create more joy in your life. You will create more joy in your life. See, most people think that they can't get joy out of things. Right? As much as I want that PS5, I know it's not going to make me that much happier. These are temporary, short-lived wants that are not long-lasting. You can think that being more successful will bring you joy. Having more money, getting that girlfriend, getting that boyfriend is going to make me happy. At the end of the day, none of that is going to be an everlasting satisfaction that your soul thirsts for. It's never going to be enough. I hope you guys comprehend that. It's never going to be enough. What this world has to offer will never be enough. When you learn to serve others, when you learn to bless others, you will get such a satisfaction, such a joy. Man, I was thinking if I wanted to share some of this, but in some of my investments, I've been doing fairly well, right? Some of you guys know what happened with the whole GameStop debacle in the stock market. Well, I was involved in that, and for some reason, or way, shape, or form, I got blessed. I made a couple dollars. Let's just put it that way. A couple dollars. So relax, guys. Don't ask me for money. But I was just kidding. But, but the first thing I thought about, man, I want to give it away. That's the first thing. I didn't think about, I want this, I want that. No, I was like, God, you have blessed me with a couple dollars, right? I'm like, man, I can't wait to tithe. I did that. I can't wait to bless someone. And the first person that had conviction in my heart was to go bless my mom. I said, man, you have sacrificed so much for me. You have put up with such of my tonteria, some of my trash, a lot of my stupidity. Sorry if I'm, saying that, but that's really the dumb things that I did. And I was like, you know what? Here you go. Just pay off your debt for the next couple of months. And let me take a burden off your shoulders and let me just bless you. Man, it felt so good. I felt so happy to be able to bless someone. Most importantly, my mother, the one that birthed me, the one that gave me life. The one that cared for me through my rebellion, through my years. Man, these are things that you can only dream about doing when you're young. Like, I can't wait till I can buy my parents a house so I can bless them. I can do this. I'm actually living it because, God, you've given me the ability and enabled me the capacity. And, God, I honor you first before all things. And in doing so, God, you're just going to continue blessing me. That is such a great joy that I get. That I don't live for myself, that I live for others, that I could bless, that I can honor. And man, blessing my mother this past week, woo. Man, I like, in the good sense of what happened this COVID season, because there's a good and the bad, was that I've become so close to my parents. I've taken that opportunity where, man, hey, I'm at Sam's Club, you need something? Yeah, hey, this and that. Hey, I'm at Seder Brothers, you need something? Hey, can I get you something? Hey, I'm buying some food, you want something? Man, when you learn to live like that and considering others before yourself, you become the most content, happiest person ever. So if you guys are a little sad, depressed, or anxious, take the focus off of you and put it on others. You're not going to have enough time to be depressed, time to be concerned. Take the self-centeredness, take it away, and put it onto God. Put it onto others, and it will change your life. Philippians 2:17. It says, but I will rejoice even if I lose my life. Even if it costs you your life, because it's going to cost your life to be able to be in service to others. You're going to waste your time. Well, not waste your time. You're going to invest your time. But look what it says. Pouring it out, or I'll read it from the beginning. But I will rejoice even if I lose my life. Pouring it out like a liquid offering to God. Just like your faithful service is an offering to God. Your faithful service. And I want all of you to share that joy. That there's a joy in your faithful service to God. There's a joy in blessing others. Even if it costs you your life, it isn't wasted. So some of the most helpful people are the most happy people. You can think of members, you can think of people you know. Think about who seems the most happiest in their life. The ones that are always concerned about themselves, or the ones that are always willing to help others? Man, for me, like really quickly, I can think of deacons, but for some reason, I thought about Brother Torres, Antonio Torres. Man, that guy is so freaking happy. Every time I see him, I'm like, bro, I want that happiness, right? You grow up thinking like, bro, why the heck are you so happy? But that guy will be the first person to help anyone in this church. And I'm like, bro, like, and I know it's hard to understand, young people, because you grow up thinking, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to have this. Yeah, I get it, all right? But when you learn to just help people, man, do you just see the spring of life, the spring of joy just come out of people? And that was like the first person I thought about. Was like, man, every time I see that guy is so happy. I want that contentment. I want that satisfaction. But he's the first person to be like, brother, you need something? Can I help you? The most helpful people are the most happiest people. So if you're unhappy, young youth, learn to help others. Philippians 4:4-5. Always be full of joy in the Lord. I say it again, rejoice. Let everyone see that you are considerate in all that you do. Paul is pairing this considerate and joyness, just like we saw in the previous verse. This unselfishness. It says, remember the Lord is coming. But it says, always rejoice. Always be full of joy. And let people see that considerateness that you have. That unselfishness. Let people see it. And they will see the joy that you have. You guys want to be more happy? Learn to serve. And don't put that obligation upon the church to tell you where to serve. You serve when you go home in the most insignificant ways. Hey, Dad. Hey, Mom. Can I help you? Or even people the relatives that you hate. Try serving them and see if that relationship doesn't change. Try it. See that's already the next point. I'm getting ahead here, but try it. So if you lack joy in your life, start serving. Start giving away your life with nothing in return, with no compensation. It can't be transactional because then there's an exchange for your efforts, and you're receiving your joy in full. You're getting your money, you're getting your compensation. But start serving and start giving away your life, giving away your time. This is where joy comes from. And then with the gifts that God enables you to do so. 1 Peter 4:10, right? We won't talk about gifts today, but this is part of it, that you use your gifts in service. It says God has given each of you a gift. So every single person breathing in this room, if you have a heartbeat, boom, 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 yes, you, I'm talking to you. Right? You have a gift, and it says from his great variety of spiritual gifts, use them well to serve one another. Use them well. Well, if you're not serving others, how will you develop your gift? How will you practice it? It's kind of like, dude, when I first started preaching up here, I was like reading like a Bible verse. It takes time to develop. It takes time to become what God has called you to be. Be patient, but start participating, start serving. That's your first benefit that you get from blessing others. That you will be more happy. You will have more content. You have more satisfaction in your life. Contrary to what culture tells you. I know it's counterculture. Culture will tell you, it's all about you. You do it. You're the best. You're awesome. This is for you. Custom this, custom that. Counterculture, but the Bible teaches us very differently. The second benefit, right? When you learn to use your life to serve others. It will improve your relationships. This will improve my relationships. At the root of every single relational problem in your life is self-centeredness. Think about every single problem that you've ever had in your life relationally had to be rooted with self-centeredness. When me and my wife fight, it's because I want this, she wants that. I want to eat that. She wants to go here. It's self-centeredness. It's pride. It's saying, I want what I want. What you want doesn't matter. But if you can look into your relational problems and you can analyze and dig deeper and look at the root, it's self-centeredness. So when you learn to serve others, you learn to bless others in honor to God, your relationships will improve. Matthew 20:28. For even, you can say, how do you do this? How do you learn unselfishness, right? If this is the reason why God put us here to be unselfish, then how do we do this? Well, we copy Jesus. We are Christians here. We are to be in his likeness. So Matthew 20:28. For even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve others and to give his life as ransom for many. To give his life. Guys, give your energy, give your efforts, give your attention. That is, man, one of the hardest things I've learned to discover about myself. People be talking to me and my mind is somewhere else. And yeah, I'm present, but I'm not present, right? Give it. Learn to give away part of your life. Give it all if you can. What does the Bible say? Those that try to hang on to their life will lose it, but those that give it away shall. And for those of you that read your Bible, if you don't read it, forget it. Romans 14:18. If you serve Christ with this attitude, right, with the Christ of giving with service, you will please God and others will approve of you too. Because at the end of the day, we all want to be respected, right? I know I do. I want to be admired. That's just part. We want to be liked. We want to be cool. We do it for the wrong reasons, the wrong motivations. But if we do it to honor God, man, one person that has gained a lot of my respect in the past, year that I've known is the brother Rios. I see him on Saturdays putting all his work and does it with no compensation, right? He doesn't ask for anything. But man, that guy will be out here digging trenches. Also, some of the youth, I see you guys. Man, you guys have such a great respect for me. I love you guys that much more because I can see what you're doing. You're not doing it for man, but you're doing it unto the Lord, and you're doing it in honor for the Lord, right? That if you want to be respected, you want to be liked, do it with the same serviceable attitude. It says if you serve Christ with this attitude, you will please God, and others will approve of you too. Proverbs 11:25. Because as you bless others, you will, in compensation, you will be more blessed. It is all God that's going to bless you guys. Trust me. Proverbs 11:25. The generous will prosper. Those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed. That when you learn to bless others, when you learn to be service to others, God is just going to give you more and more and more. But it has to be with the right motivation, the right intention. And God, if you want to be a millionaire, then tell God you want to be a millionaire, but with the right motivation. We've talked about wealth and how to handle wealth out of the book of James. We spoke about wealth very, very extensively. It has to be with the right motivation. There's nothing wrong with wealth if it's appropriately administered, right? There's nothing. I know people think like, oh, you know, the money is the devil. No, your use of the money is the devil, right? But with the right motivation, with the right attitude of Christ, though the generous will prosper, those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed. This is how you're going to improve your relationship. We copy Jesus in this sense. The self-centeredness, it will begin to erode all of that. And you'll see such a change in your relationships. But think deeply about all the problems in your relational situations. It all rooted with self-centeredness, with pride. The third benefit, because I got to go through this quick. The third benefit, that your life will be, it will make my life more meaningful. Kind of contrary. That you could think like, oh, you're wasting your life by giving it away. You give away your money, you give away your time, your energy, your effort. But it's actually going to give more meaning to your life. Many people think it's money that gives your life meaning. It's your status, it's your job, it's your car, it's this, it's that. It's who you're married to, it's where you live, it's where you work. That brings my life meaning. At the end of the day, that doesn't bring squat. As far as rude as I can tell you, your service, your blessing, you'll be, God, I understand what I was created for. To bless others, to honor you, to bless you. It will bring about more meaning, and you'll discern it, and you'll understand it. So this year, if you're going to be called to bless, do it with the right intention. Do it, and your life, you'll understand that it's made more meaningful. Here's a Bible verse I was referencing earlier, Mark 8:35. If you try to hang on to your life, you will lose it. But if you give up your life for my sake, the intention there, if you give up your life for my sake, and for the sake of the good news, the gospel, you will save it. So this comes from giving your life away. Your life is made more meaningful. Don't you? I know deep down inside, we all want to have a meaningful life. We all want to do great things. We want to leave an impact. We want to be an influence onto people. We want to do good things. I know at the end of the day, we don't want our life to be insignificant. These are the things that I think about sometimes. Like we want our lives to be meaningful. Well, when you become a Christian, even in the most insignificant ways, it becomes significant because God sees it. You're in service to God, and you're blessing others. This is how you discover the meaning of your life through your ministry. Your life will be intentional. Let's go quickly to a fourth point here. The fourth benefit of blessing others, that you will leave a legacy. A short one here on earth, right? Even after a couple generations, no one will remember who you are. Even if you do something really cool, you will put your name on the building. After a couple people are like, who is that, right? But you'll leave a long life, eternal. You will leave a legacy that will be impacted for an eternity in God's kingdom, in heaven. You will invest your life now as you give it away for the sake of the gospel, for the sake of God, what he's called you to do. But it will be for a lifelong legacy, an eternal legacy in God's kingdom. Man, well, Proverbs 10:7, and I'll give this example. We have happy memories of the godly, but the name of the wicked person rots away. How will people remember you? right? Because life is so short. I gave here yesterday, I officiated a funeral. So one of the girls related to one of the families here, and she used to be in my classes when I was in the Sunday school teacher. But we gave a little service here for her uncle that passed away. And then for some reason, I thought it was related to the person that died at the entrance of the church entrance here. And it actually ended up being, she's like, yeah, we're going through a hard time. That was actually my brother. So they were actually going through two deaths in their family. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, they were up here saying things and they're saying, man, that person was a good person, this and that. Think to yourself, if you were to pass right now, if you just had a stroke and passed out right here in the chairs and we called 911, right? Man, what will people say about you? How will you be remembered? What impact, what influence, what intimacy will people be reminded? What memories cherished? Will remembrance of you? Will people say, man, that person served. Man, that person was charitable. Man, that person gave so much love. Man, that person was so awesome. As I was thinking about this, I was like, man, how many people are going to come out of the woodworks when my dad passes? My dad has left such an influence and impact on so many people. Growing up, people would tell me, like, dude, you're lucky. You're lucky. I'm like, man, I hate living here. What do you mean I'm lucky? I didn't understand, right? But I was lucky to be a kid of a minister, of someone of faith. And I'm thinking, like, now that in reflection, like, you guys are just as lucky too. Because your parents bring you to church. Your parents model Christ for you. You guys have a light in your family. You have a light of the gospel that guides you. You guys are all lucky here that this word has been made known to your hearts and to your mind. Because I was thinking, like, man, I am lucky. But you know what? Everybody at the church is lucky too. Because they're Christians. Because I'm not trying to elevate no man. Yeah, my father did a lot of cool things in ministry, right? But I'm not here to elevate no man and say, like, oh, he's the best ever. No, he's got his faults too, right? But we are all so lucky here. And you guys are all going to leave a legacy in remembrance. And I don't know if it's because I've been going to a lot of funerals lately that I got this concept that then tomorrow's not promised. It really isn't promised. But that we'll be ready. I know Angel was looking at me at the door. He's like, hey, you didn't tell me that you weren't negative. So he was like, looking at me like this. Think I still had COVID? And I told him, hey, bro, we're ready, bro. Si te toca, te toca. If you got to go, you got to go. You don't die from COVID. God just calls you to his presence, right? But man, there's been a lot of occurrences of people passing. And it makes me realize, what legacy will you live? Will you be remembered of blessing others, of serving others? A charitable attitude, an attitude like Christ. Man, that guy you could tell he lived his purpose. You can tell that guy had so much meaning in his life because God had blessed him in abundance. You realize it isn't the things you accumulate, the cool things. Yeah, I like the iPhones. I like the tech. I like the cars. Yeah, bro, I'm in the same boat with you guys. I like all that stuff, right? But none of that is meaningful if you don't have your priorities in check. If you don't learn that you were created to bless others. You were called to serve others. You will understand how much more joy you have in your life. You will understand how much more meaning you have in your life. And it's a beautiful thing, man. I hope one day you guys can discover it and you guys will see it and you'll live it. So you guys will stop thinking that the guy preaching on the stage is talking out of his butt. But sorry for the lack of term, but you'd understand me, right? That it's not nonsense what I'm saying up here, right? I can only live and tell you based on my own conviction, my own relationship to God, right? At the end of the day, you have to have your own relationship. You have to communicate with God. You have to comprehend his word. You have to believe. I can't take all you guys to heaven with me, guys. I can't. You guys have to understand that you were called first to be loved, then to become, or then to belong to his church, then to become who God has called you to be. And he's called you to bless others. Do as Christ would do. He didn't come here. Many people come to church thinking like, how can I get served? Serve me, this, and that. No. It's wrong. You were created. God has called you to serve, to bless others. I hope you guys can think clearly to that. And that God is speaking to each one of you guys here this morning. Matthew 20:26. But among you, it will be different. Whoever wants to be a leader, right, because you're going to leave a legacy, among you must be your servant. I was listening to a podcast about this kind of stuff, and it was Pastor Rick Warren, and he's like, man, it's so funny. Whenever I do a leadership conference, thousands of people show up. Thousands. I mean, you do great leadership stuff. Or Greg, or Michael Todd, whichever pastor, they've all done leadership conferences, right? But as soon as they do a servanthood conference, service, no one shows up. Oh, I ain't trying to, that stuff's boring. I want to be a leader, right? Think how we got it twisted. Hey, leadership conference, this famous pastor, this great CEO of a Fortune 500 company, people flock to it and pay good money to understand. But as soon as they want to do like, hey, how to be more serviceable, a servanthood conference, everyone's like, that's not what I want. It's contrary, guys. Think about things in your own mind are twisted, reverse, counterculture. If you want to be great, it says, or if whoever wants to be a leader among you must be your servant. For Jesus came to serve and not to be served. Hebrews 6:10. For God is not unjust, right? Because we're going to do secret acts of service. We get it. Everybody wants to be noticed. He will not forget how hard you have worked for him and how you have shown your love for him by caring for other believers as you still do. God isn't unjust. Let God reward you in secret. When you serve, don't do it because I want the plaque, I want the cool statue, I want my name on the wall, and then my name on the building. That'd be real nice, huh? Right? In memory of Pastor Jorge Munoz, right? That has a nice ring to it. Nah, please don't ever do that, guys. I'll be turning around in my grave like, no, they learned wrong, right? Because I'm held accountable to God for what I teach you, right? Yeah, we discussed that last time. But I would pray and I hope and that you would be inspired to bless others, serve others. Don't just think that you do it only through the church, but the other, 6 days out of the week, the other 23 hours you have for this day, right? This is just a training field here. This is how we teach you. This is what we show you. And then you go and you do it out there. You go and serve your family. You go and serve your coworkers. Go serve your relatives. Serve your neighbors. Serve those around you. And see what kind of impact you will leave. What kind of approval you'll get from people. Everybody wants that great job, right? Everybody wants to get approved. You're selling yourself in an interview. If they don't see the likeness in you, then, right? Oh, this person's just out to get their own. People notice. I'll tell you. People notice when you're all about yourself. It's not that hard. I'm sorry, but there's like a big old ego side over people's heads when you can just tell, man, that person just lives for themselves. Right? But when someone lives for other people, is it noticeable? They have this joy. Man, young people, I know you guys struggle with finding happiness, finding purpose. I just came out of that saying, I'm old, but I'm not that old, right? I came out of that whole self-discovery, my own purpose, the meaning of life, why I'm here, why I exist. When you learn to discover that God has called you to bless, it will change your life. Hold it against me. Be like, Pastor Joe, this is what you told me, man. And then I'll be like, well, are you doing this stuff? Are you understanding? Are you putting it into practice? If not, then, well, I'm sorry. John 12:26. Anyone who wants to serve me must follow me. Following Christ is to serve God. You're saved to be called into his service. Correlate the two. Anyone who wants to serve must follow me. Followers of Christ. Because my servants must be where I am. And the Father will honor anyone who serves me. God will honor you in your secret acts of service. That's a great promise from God. That if you follow Christ and you serve him, you bless others, God will honor you. God is obligated to honor you. God, you told me you were going to bless me. God, I'm blessing and I'm blessing and I'm blessing and I'm blessing others. God, it's an obligation that he holds against himself to honor you. When you discover how God starts to honor you, you can think money, you can think this and that, you can think material things, but nah, bro, there's this inner sense, this other refreshment of the soul, of your spirit. That alone is enough The confidence of eternity in his presence, in his kingdom, in his inheritance of his glory that he shares with his people, man, that's enough. Everything else is just extra. God, you want to bless me with money? You want to bless me with that? Dude, that's all extra. Help me administer it correctly. All that's extra. See how God will honor you when you honor God first. You want to be a Christian? Follow him. If you're going to follow him and become saved and work out this salvation, because I understand grace, through grace, God did it for you. You can't do nothing for it. But if you begin to serve and bless others, see how God's going to honor you. And you don't got to tell anybody. This isn't for you to be putting it all over the internet. Let it be between you and God. And see how God will be, faithful in perfection to honor you. And I pray you guys discover that. God has revealed so much to me lately in my own personal relationship with God, but hey, that's our business, right? You guys got to work out your own problems, your own beef with God. That's all on you, right? I can only show you. You got to walk through the door. I can only express to you. I can only tell you. I can only live it, but you got to live it. You got to do it. You got to bless others. You got to serve others. I don't think just blessing others is monetarily. You bless others with your time, with your attention. That's one of my biggest struggles I mentioned earlier. Man, my wife's talking, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. She doesn't talk like that, right? But example, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. What'd you say? Like, man, you weren't listening this whole time? Sorry, I was thinking about Call of Duty and PS5 and money and the stock market. Guys, learn to serve others. Learn to bless others. Bless them with your attention, with your time. Your time is all you ever have. Now is all you'll ever have. Don't be like the dude that was walking across the street that life was just taken away. Honor the time you have now and use it wisely. Give it away. Give it away for the gospel. Let me bless you with something. Let me help you with something. Become more serviceable. I hope you guys learned something. Let me quote Rick Warren here because I like the way he says it. He says, the greatest use of life is to invest it in that which will outlast it. Let me say it again. The greatest use of your life, the greatest use of life is to invest it in which that will outlast it. This whole life you live is an investment for eternity. Use it wisely. Understand that you've been called to bless. In conclusion, let me just recap this. Because when you learn to bless others, you learn to use your life, you learn to give it away in honoring and in service and in your faithful servant to God, you're going to get these 4 benefits. You will create more joy in your life. You will improve your relationships. It will make your life more meaningful, and you'll leave a legacy. You will be remembered. Short term here, right? Because we live short lives. But you'll be remembered in heaven. Trust me. When we all see each other up in there, or some of you, or I don't know who's going to make it, right? Like, I got to be careful when I preach because I didn't know if they're Catholic or whatever. And the lady came up to me. She's like, hey, can you bless these rosaries? I was like, I don't know how to do that. I'm not licensed. Yeah, because I didn't know any of the people at the funeral here yesterday, except for the girl that used to come here to my Sunday school class. I was like, yeah, okay. I don't know. I didn't do that. I don't want to disrespect their own faith, Catholicism, right? With much respect. But it's all you ever have, guys. Give it away. Learn. Try it. Try it. Try this week. Give it away. Give away your time. Give away your money. Give away your effort, your energy, your attention, your strength. Try it and see if God will not fulfill his obligation to honor you. But if you're going to do it for the right motivation. Don't do it because you want to be cool. Don't do it because, hey, I want people to like me. Don't do it because this is going to benefit me because there's a transactional thing. Quid pro quo. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. No. Right? Do it in service of the Lord based off the conviction God has given you because you've been called to bless. Amen? Let us stand up. Let us pray because they're probably waiting for us over there. So let us pray. Heavenly Father,